Marching on together, marching on together, marching on together, fans are on the bullion. Marching on together, fans are on the bullion. Allez.
Hello and welcome to the Loco Leeds football channel with my official Facebook group, Leeds Plus. I bring to you another episode of the Fan View, and we have got lots and lots to talk about. Leeds United's game against Liverpool, which took place on Monday. Fabulous game. We've got the European Super League to talk about, and in between, whatever we can think. I've got a wonderful guest, the wonderful Rhiannon from Leeds Lass, a wonderful all-female live streaming football talk show on All Leeds TV. So a big thank you for All Leeds TV for allowing me, one of your prized assets, to come on to the fan. Rhiannon, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm feeling very upbeat after the result yesterday. It's a bit obviously it's a bit worried about this European Super League, but apart from that, yeah, I'm really good, thanks.
That's good. That's good. So everybody who's joining me on the YouTube channel, welcome to the Fan View. Remember to like, share, and subscribe this video, and like and subscribe to the channel rather. And you know, we're going to get straight into it. Like I said, let's talk about Leeds versus Liverpool. We stole a point, a deserved point. We earned a point, shall I say? And the game is gone underneath the carpet. Nobody's talking about it because of all this European Super League. But we, as a Leeds fan channel, as Leeds supporters, are going to talk about it and give credit where credit's due. And a big thank you to Marcelo Bielsa, who's made us, you know, in these last two games, has really made the nation take notice, I think, and made them sit back and see Leeds United in action against these big six so-called super clubs. You know, he's made everybody look at it, and look. The gulf between the big six isn't that much. Look at Leeds, where they've come from.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, I definitely was one of them fans at the start of the season when I looked at April when the fixture came out, and I was like, oh no, what an awful month that's going to be. But I never imagined the Premier League to unfold the way it did. Like, I thought Liverpool would have come out all guns blazing, is going to defend the title, and I just thought it'd be a bit more competitive than it is. But I think it definitely shows the effects what the pandemic has done, like with the short pre-season and things like that. So it's been exciting, and I'm glad Leeds have done better than I thought they would do. I mean, I always thought we'd do well, and I always thought we would survive. But obviously my heart would say, yep, top table finish, like 10th. That's what I said at the beginning. But in a weird way, I never imagined we would do it. I thought we'd be around maybe the 14th mark. But yeah, I've just been so impressed with the way Leeds have played all season. Yeah,
I mean, I totally understand what you're saying about the month of April being the month of doom. You know, Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United. You know, it's only 75% done at the moment. You know, we've still got those Red Devils to face, but to be where we are at this particular part of the season is an absolutely incredible achievement by the boys, and you know, fair play to the management staff and everybody who's done this so well. Because to be so comfortable in the month of April, because you know, if we go back and go back to our championship days, the Easter period, you know, it's good to be involved in these playoffs, but there was a lot of heartbreak, you know, with the Gary Monk era, you've got then obviously with Marcelo, with Derby and everything, that was a heartbreaking moment, but we sort of lost our footing in that Easter period in that particular season. So to have a nice, relaxed feeling to this season in the month of April, I really enjoyed my Easter holidays and everything, So it's really good, and it's a great achievement by the boys. And let's look at, yesterday's game could have, if we had taken our chances, we here on the Fan View, me and you would have been, really, really talking about, well, we would have been really happy. We're happy as it is, but we would have been talking about a win, not just a draw. But we were very unfortunate not to win 2-1 at least.
Yes, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I felt bad for Bamford. Like, he had two really standout chances that if luck was just on his side, we would be talking about a win. I mean, his shot against the crossbar, just like an inch down, and it would have been top bins, and you'd just been screaming your head off, wouldn't you? So yeah. And also I felt bad for Tyler. He had two really good chances. I just think it was just more decision making on his part. Watching back the highlights, I think he had a shot in the first half that went straight to the key. That went straight to Alisson, and I didn't think it had as much force behind it. The second one, Alisson opened up his body, and I think he just kicked it. There was no like real direction with the ball, and it just hit Alisson's chest, and it's just unfortunate. But I'm so happy for Diego. Oh, he's deserved that.
Yes,
it's been coming. He's been insane. He's been an insane player for us. I mean, I was one of them that was very much like, oh, he's going to be like Forshaw, isn't he? He's made of glass. He's going to come on back 8 minutes. He's going to go off injured again, just like he did before. And I was just like, oh, God, it's just not his season. But my God, has he flourished. Like, he's just blown up, hasn't he? He's just some of his ball, just the way he plays with the ball. I just love watching him. And he's such a tough defender. Like, if someone else, like say Cooper or Ayling, like just makes one minor mistake, he's there to stop it. I mean, some of the blocks last night were incredible. So yeah, I just can't stop raving about him.
Yeah, no, he's a very and I think on set pieces we've improved with Diego Llorente as well. Do you feel, Rhiannon?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I always in the beginning, when he first came back, he was a bit shaky, but I felt Struijk there kept it calm. I thought Struijk has definitely improved us with the set pieces, 100%.
Yes.
I think Diego's more like grown into his role in the back.
Okay.
And I think because the aerial threat to like the set piece, I thought Struijk always keeps it out. Like I just feel he's better in the air, and Diego complements him by being like the ball player along the floor, and I think they work well as a partnership. But yeah, I think just yesterday, just him and Struijk. I don't think Struijk had his best game, but I think they worked well as a partnership.
Yeah, I think they've done well. We're quite good at the back. We've got Robin Koch as well, and also Liam Cooper as well when available. So we're quite strong now in that centre back department. Just touching upon what you said with Tyler Roberts, and I think as the game went on, he grew into the game, and I know what you're saying when he took that shot. I think he got caught in two minds whether to sort of place it or leather it, kind of thing. So he sort of got, I think, because it's such a split second, and then you know what, football is one of them things. It's an instant thing, isn't it? Really, and I think when he got caught in two minds, he didn't know whether to place it, whether to really sort of, you know, leather it, kind of thing, and plus there's a lot of pressure because he's not scored a goal yet, has he, in the Premier League?
No, he has not. Because every time it seems to go at the back of the net, it's offside. Because that's the last. Like the last two occasions Tyler Roberts actually gets something in the back of the net, it's been called offside. So it's been a bit unfortunate. But yeah, I think his confidence has grown. I saw some of the fellow Leeds fans. I just had the word and now it's gone. Reservations over Roberts creep back in, their frustration, because we kind of know what Roberts is like. But I think it's hard. Like, it's hard to take away his first team spot because he's been so. I mean, I've been one that's criticised him in the past. Don't get me wrong, but I've always stood by him. Because Bielsa, because there's a reason why Bielsa supports him. Like, he sees something in him.
Totally,
I mean, I see the potential in Roberts. He's just not there yet, 100%. But his confidence, like the way he played against Chelsea, for example, was just insane. And that's what we want to see. We want consistency. We want him to play consistently, and it's a bit hit and miss with Roberts at the moment. But like you say, he grew throughout the game. He had a dodgy first half, but he played much better in the second.
Yes, I mean, there is that kind of split opinion. It's because we're in the Premier League, and you could see in the first half, I think we did struggle. Liverpool were very, very solid in the first half. You could tell the caliber of players that we were playing against. Having said that, we then Leeds in the second half, we took them apart, I would say, and I think our fitness levels showed. I know James Milner is one of our prodigal sons as a Leeds fan base, but you could see, that you can hear inklings that, let's get James Milner, for next season at Leeds. But you could see towards the end, Stuart Dallas, he was playing 90 minutes, and Dallas was on a yellow card. You could see he was way fitter than James Milner, and James Milner is a fit boy, but that 90 minutes took a lot out of him to keep up with Leeds. Yeah. Now that's him keeping up as an opposition player. Just imagine when he's playing for us at the age of 36 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be, we have to move on from the James Milner thing. Fantastic player, legend, but he only played a short time. I remember when he made his debut for us. He played a short time for us, but he's a legend for Liverpool or and stuff like that. But a good player, solid career, but we need to move on and look at something else and develop our own youngsters. I mean, our under-23s have just won the league, and we've got the likes of Gelhardt, the lad Jimmy, who I always call Jimmy Somerville for some reason. Crescencio,
it's Crescencio, yeah.
That's it, and we've. The future's bright, and that Adam Forshaw, I'll tell you, he's a fantastic under-23 player. He's played a couple of games.
Do you know what? It's actually nice to see him actually play football. Like,
the bionic man.
I can't believe he's been out for so long. Like,
I know.
It was just nice to see him in an actual game. and actually
Yeah.
play football again.
Absolutely.
I think he's one that Forshaw's a bit of a question mark with me because I can see him leaving in the summer.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be one that does get shipped out, but he'd probably go to a championship team. Like he's still a good player. He just needs to, because I don't think he's going to get his fitness up quick enough. Play in the Premier League.
No, it's a long time out for a professional player. I mean, I don't profess to be a professional player, but to come back from like a year and a bit, year and a half maybe, because he was injured before lockdown, wasn't he?
Yeah,
last season.
And I think he had hip surgery, I think.
So these are all major parts of the body that you need football for, and to play in the elite league, which is the Premier League I'm talking about. And you need to be, and especially to play Marcelo Bielsa's way of football, you need to be fit and super fit at that. And I think you know what? I think Leeds are doing that right thing by standing by their player through the bad times, and they've actually nursed him and got him back to full fitness. And then if they move him on, they didn't leave him in the lurch. They've done the same with Berardi as well. So I think from a human standpoint, I think they've done well for what they need to do for their player. But one player that we were missing, and I thought Raphinha obviously could have made that difference. In the first half when we were struggling and we were calling out for some sort of sparkle. This is the thing, you see, we've got so used to him, and our play now revolves around Raphinha, and like Patrick Bamford is so important to our system. Raphinha is as well.
Yeah, I find their link up. I find Ayling, Raphinha, and Bamford link up like they do it consistently, week in, week out, and it's what we expect. And when we're missing one of them cogs in our well-oiled machine, it's very noticeable. Like the first half was definitely flat. I hate to say it, but it was getting boring. Like I just thought, it's like, what's going on? But it just shows what kind of energy that Raphinha brings, and he's always finding space. He's always trying to pick up second balls and feeding it through to Bamford, or just laying it off to the midfield. It's just he just consistently tries and creates chances for Leeds. And we definitely missed him yesterday, and it's hot. It's in a weird way, I don't like the fact that that we missed him, because we shouldn't, because it feels like we're relying on one player, and especially when there's a lot of attention around that certain player from the top 6 teams, it makes me a bit nervous. But I've got to say that we got a point with practically our championship team is very impressive. So absolutely. I'm glad we grinded it out.
Yeah, see, this we've done a couple of times with the championship team. Now, with this championship team, they've had so much experience of Bielsa's knowledge put into them, and sometimes it works really, really well when when the backs are against the wall, and when Raphinha, Rodrigo are missing. We've had to do mostly without Rodrigo, because Rodrigo's always missing, isn't he? He's been injured a fair bit, which I feel so bad for him because he's a quality player. But we've adapted really well. If we don't complain about injuries, because we didn't have a very good settled back four. We didn't have our new signings, put it this way. So the majority of our team this season has been our championship side, and when we've had to come in, they do know their jobs, and I know Helder Costa gets a lot of grief as well, but I think Costa and Harrison both sort of had a similar type game, and I thought Alioski done well yesterday. He was a bit of an unsung hero, and sometimes when I saw Alioski coming on the left wing, sometimes bypassing Jack Harrison, he was coming in and doing some decent crosses, and but it's good that we've got these kind of reinforcements, that can come in and sort of do a job, which is very, very good. I mean, if you look at it for next season, Tyler Roberts may not get that centre midfield spot, but he comes off from the bench. You still feel okay because he's got a year underneath his belt and he knows the Bielsa system inside and out. Do you know where I'm trying to come from?
Yeah, I do. I probably wouldn't have as much confidence though. It's one of them things that like when we were making subs and we were like taking Bamford off for Roberts, I'd be like, why? Like, you're taking off our main striker and you put in someone that is young, obviously hasn't had any experience in the Premier League as far as I'm aware, and then because he was so hit and miss in the Championship, I think this is why there's so much frustration and criticism over the likes of Tyler Roberts, and he didn't really grab his chance. It's like with Costa, he didn't like. He was incredible for Liverpool, and he was incredible against Fulham. The first two games of the season. I was like, yes, this is Costa's place. Like he's so much better in the Premier League. There's more space. He works better when there's more space. Whereas in the Championship, you didn't get that. So that's probably why he struggled. But I feel like they didn't exactly grab their opportunity when they did. Their second chance has just come by default because of injuries and things like that. But I'm glad this time round they've grabbed it. They've grabbed the ball by the horns and they've actually took it on. And they're actually showing that, they're actually proving some Leeds fans wrong.
To be fair to Helder, he done well against in the Arsenal game. He's out of the two, Tyler Roberts has done
better.
Well. Yeah, done better. But having said that, yesterday when you looked at the subs, when Matthias Klick came in and Pablo Hernandez came in as well, the dynamic changed and it was quite good to see. I did mention it on my match review video as well, that it was nice to see Pablo making a little cameo role, but I was very happy that Matthias Klick came in as well. And I know he's been having a few, he's had a bit of a rest because he's been playing like 3 years non-stop, hasn't he, for us?
Yeah, so, and you could see that he was getting tired. Because he didn't get, because he had a slight hip injury where it was more it was more of a repetitive strain injury, like as you get with your wrist and things like that, because of how often he's been playing. Whereas an actual an actual strain where you're out for 6 weeks. But in a weird way, like when I was watching the game, I was thinking, who are we actually going to bring on? The first half is flat. I looked at the bench, I thought, I can't really see anyone who would make a really good impact on the game. As much as I love Klick and as much as I love Pablo and all them, it just because I don't know, just because of the way Liverpool were playing, I felt I couldn't see anyone that could make that sort of impact. But saying that, Klick came on, Pablo came on, 60-minute mark. All of a sudden, we're actually dominating the game, and there's like more fire in our belly again, and now we're actually going for it.
I think Pervader, because he's such a little guy, as in, you know, you don't know whether he's actually got the license to come on the pitch. He looks so young. He looks about 12, you know, and you know, is he allowed out at 9 o'clock? You know, and but he comes on, and you know, he's so tricky, and he's very small, and you know, he sometimes just sometimes when you think he's going to lose the ball, he'll get past somebody, and you can see the confidence in him because he's been playing with the under-23s. They've won the league. He's got a bit of swagger in himself, and again, he's coming into a team which is in good form itself. So the first team is high in confidence. The under-23s are in confidence, and for a young player, that's so good because he's going in there. He's just going to go out and express himself. And he was a very, very good substitution. And I think he was a bit of the catalyst for us to, you know, start our really good play in the second half.
Yeah, 100%. And there was a bit of flair and tricks in the 6-yard box as well. He's just, I think he sees himself as like a mini Rafinha. That's what I think. Yeah, I really do. Like, he's got all the this is a compliment. I mean, he's got all the arrogance and all the, like, say, the swag of like a young guy that's just enjoying his football, is, you know, just having fun with it, and he's reaping the rewards in the Premier League.
Absolutely,
which not many footballers his age get that chance. And as much as, don't get me wrong, I love Pervader, my only criticism of him is that end product. Sometimes it's just not there. But he's got the team, and he's got the players around him to pick it up and to finish it. So yeah.
I just think he will be nurtured through, and and look, at the end of the day, it worked out in our favour because Llorente got the goal, super goal, and you know, it was a point that I would have been really hurt because of the performance in the second half. We didn't get the point. It would have been one of them. Should have won this game, but look, we done it. And we got a point. That's 4 points from these wonderful elite clubs.
Yes.
You know, these big six. And so it moves me on. We're segueing off the game. So listen, you're very happy with the point. I'm happy as well. So we can move on, and we've got Manchester United on Sunday. Quickly, just before I talk to you about the European Super League, Rhiannon, your thoughts on our fixture on Sunday? I believe it's Man United, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not going to be like the reverse fixture at all. Like, Bielsa won't let it happen.
It's a matter of pride, isn't it? It's a matter of pride
it
for
is,
us.
And I was a bit, because of, like, just slightly going off, like, because the ESL news, like you said before, our fixture was a bit sort of downplayed against Liverpool, and it was weird. It was like there was so much hype, and we're so up for it because we were like, right, everyone's behind us, everyone's supporting Leeds because of this news. And I don't know, we came out a bit flat, and I'm just worried that we might come out flat again because it's such a high fixture. You never know which Leeds team is going to come out, but I hope it's going to be the team that came out against Man City against Man United, rather than the team that started out in Liverpool. But we turned it around against Liverpool, and we got a draw. I hope we get at least a draw. That's all I'm saying. I can't see us losing, but it'll be amazing if we got the 3 points. But I'd be happy with a draw.
I think I'd go with that. A point against Man United would be brilliant. It's just with this backdrop of, because this story you know, if nobody shuts it down,
Mm.
it's just going to run and run. And it's we've got Tottenham as well. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like Leeds are testing all these big six clubs out, but I don't really feel well. Man United are better than Liverpool this season, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know, if you look at it, and they're in a better run of form than Liverpool. But having said that, Liverpool were, unbeaten in 3. Sometimes Man United, it's Pogba and all these players. They usually just end up scoring against us 89th minute or something like that. But
Yeah.
we've got to get to. I'll switch on the Man United Leeds thing on Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
It's too much football, too much games going on, isn't there? Too many big games. Man City, Liverpool. Give us a break.
It's towards the end of the season now, isn't it? So it's almost, it gets all bunched together, doesn't it? And it's all quick and fast. So
yeah, it's been an exciting season. It's been great. So let's talk about this big hot topic of debate, the European Super League. Are you for it or against it, Rhiannon?
Oh, 100% against it.
Yeah, I thought you would have been.
I don't get where and that is where I don't get where they get off.
Mm.
It's been said all over Sky Sports News, like it's literally like the main topic, and with what now it's been going on for 4 hours, and it's going to continue to go on throughout the whole day and throughout the whole night. But yeah, I was like I was saying before we kicked off, I was just watching the live football show with Jermaine Beckford and Brad Friedel, and Brad Friedel actually said something similar to what I've been saying, is the owners are basically saying, I want my cake and I want to eat it too.
Absolutely.
They've gone on this assumption that they're going to be allowed to play in their domestic leagues and actually create this Super League. And Premier League rightly has come out and said, actually, no, you can't just assume that.
No.
And we all know it is basically greed. At the end of the day, they're just wanting to know consistently that they're going to get money in, basically, that they're never going to suffer, because I just think it's such a real odd time to do it as well, because we all know football has suffered. Every club has suffered throughout this pandemic, but the whole world has. Every nation's economy has suffered as well.
Absolutely.
So it's not like they've been singled out. And it's actually quite interesting what's come out this morning is, I don't know their fancy names or whatever, but Real Madrid, it's quite interesting what's been said, because they were saying a few quotes of what the owner said, and it sounds very much like they're trying to poach, obviously, the top 6 of the Premier League, because they know that that's where the money is, and they know that if they have them on board, they're going to get money as well, because they're in the because they're going to be in the Super League as well. So because Real Madrid it's been said, are £900 million in debt. Barcelona are £1 billion in debt. So, well, euros probably, but I just think, so Premier League is where the money's at, because let's be honest, if you take Real Madrid out, Barcelona, Atletico, out of La Liga, where's the sponsorship money going to go to? Like they don't seem to be that interested in those other teams. So La Liga will just collapse. And it's the same with the Italian league, Serie A. Whereas Premier League probably would survive because don't forget you've got Leeds.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you know, you've got Aston Villa, you've got Wolves, you've got other teams that have got such history that sponsorships will be like, actually, yeah, we want to watch you play. We're gonna give you the money, and we probably would survive. But like Brad Friedel said, which is quite a very good point, is that it all depends on where the sponsorship money goes if they do break away. It's if they follow the top 6, Premier League may not survive. But if they stay with the Premier League, then there'll be a new top 6. We'll just carry on, just like it always has been. And as a Leeds fan, I never thought I would agree with Gary Neville.
I know, and me. I mean, I'm totally with Gary Neville on this, and you know, it's an interesting one. You got to look at it without sounding funny at all. But you see, you know, they want the big clubs, like, you know, Manchester United. They've got a huge following in Asia, in America, USA, Canada, but they don't know the history between the history of the club. So they look at it. Oh, look at that uniform. That's what they call the shirts. You know, in Americanized. You know, that's a great uniform now. You know, but what I'm saying is, or in Asia, they like to look at the color of the shirt. It's red, or, you know, and like the devil. Brilliant. I'm going to become a Man United fan. It's what you know. It's what was a whole host of, like, you know, when Eric Cantona was the leader of the pack at Manchester United and they were winning, there was loads of Man United fans, you know, and it's the easy option, and because they're always on TV, so the commercial value is a lot greater for them. So that's why you've got this big 6 involved, and it's funny if you look at the branding as well. They've all got Nike. Liverpool have got Nike, Chelsea have got Nike, Manchester City, used to have Nike, didn't they? They were Puma now. Something I'm just trying to think, but Tottenham are Nike. So they've all got that kind of branding, which is, you know, Nike, and Nike's very, very popular, isn't it? And it's just one of them things that a lot of the guys in Asia or in Canada or America, they don't really know the history. That Leeds United have got a history with Manchester United. Leeds United have got a history with Liverpool. You know, yesterday, if we had lost, I wouldn't have heard the end of it from my friends, because there's so much rivalry back in the olden days. You know, it started in the 60s and 70s because Leeds were a massive club.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, in the 90s we'd carried on our sort of you know, rivalry with these guys, and you know, so what's actually going to happen? What hurts me is, brilliant, they go to the elite league, the European League, but what happens? We've waited 16 years to renew these rivalries. This is right. I don't want like a championship number 2 with Everton, Newcastle, Villa, and Leeds. That'll be the top 4. Leicester, Leicester might win the league. Actually, they're the better ones out of all of us.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, isn't it? Like, as much. This is it. Like, because we've got that history with Liverpool, because we've got that history with Manchester United, because we've got that history with Chelsea, those because those rivalries have lasted for decades. Those are the teams we wanted to play against. And as much like, there may have been some new rivalries created with, like, say, Aston Villa because of what happened in the Championship. I mean, obviously, Sheffield United's gone down now, so we won't have a Yorkshire derby next season. So, I mean, I know it's all part of being in the Premier League. You play against teams like, say, Newcastle or Brighton, but it's not as exciting as playing against Liverpool. It's not as exciting as playing against Manchester United, because we have that rivalry. And we have that history, and it's just bled into every I don't want to say true supporter, but ones that actually have had it from, like, you know, their fathers, their grandfathers, their great-great-grandfathers. You know, it's been a legacy that you support that team, and that is that. And you hate Chelsea, and you hate Manchester United, and there's reasons why you hate them. And people on the outside looking in from America and things, they'll be like, oh yeah, we hate them too. But you don't understand the true hatred for these teams. And that's what I love, because it gives that passion, doesn't it? Like, if we were in that ground, even against Manchester City, I know they've built themselves up and now are classed as an elite team because they've had an owner that have just spent money, but they struggled as well, like 20 odd years ago, and they've built themselves up. And if we were in that away end, because when Stuart Dallas scored that goal, it was towards the away end. The roof would have just gone off. Seriously, it
really would have. It was a moment. I mean, I was watching it with my daughter, and you know, and she's a mad Leeds fan, and we were screaming for. It was like an out of body experience, you know, because you just don't see that happening. But we haven't got a rivalry with Manchester City, if you think about it. Because when they came through, you know, in the 90s, we'd always beat Man City. You know, when we, you know, and we've lost to Man City as well, but we did. I mean, I remember we bought David White off Manchester City. These are only the little things that in the 90s I remember, you know, of Man City and Leeds, and that's our little link. But I would say, what rivalry has Manchester United got with Barcelona? There is no rivalry, really. You know, I remember, my fond memory is Man United getting beaten 4-0 by Barcelona when Romario scored a hat-trick, you know, and then Man United beat them in the Cup Winners' Cup, Brian Robson scoring. But that's no rivalry. They've got a rivalry with us. They took our main man, Eric Cantona. You know, and over the years, they've taken many players, Joe Jordan, you know, if we go back into the Revy era, well, the 60s and 70s era, not the Revy era as such, but you've got, you know, we've taken their players, Lee Sharp, and they've taken Rio Ferdinand. So, yeah, the rivalries were built, but I think yesterday, all the fans were united. Even Man United fans are standing with Leeds United fans. Liverpool fans are standing with Leeds fans, and everybody on the whole football spectrum. This is what they're worried about, because every little club has got their own little rivalry with these big six. Everybody, Aston Villa have probably got their little rivalry, which we don't know about. I mean, I'm from the Midlands, but I don't know anything about the Villa rivalries as such. You know, I don't know about Birmingham City, but what I'm saying is that what the big six have done in a very shrewd way is that they just want to keep their matches between themselves. So they'll keep the Tottenham rivalry with Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, but poor old Liverpool and Everton. You know, it's...
But this is it, because this is the point, isn't it? That the players, the managers, they didn't know about this. This is solely driven by the owners, that have no affiliation with the club that they own. Like, they just see it as a business, and they're trying to create a franchise to get more money, and they want to Americanize it, where you've got basically 20 teams, and you can't get relegated and you can't get promoted. And then if you're in the 4th place or something like that, you go into a playoff. I was like, there's a reason why it does not work in the UK the American way. There is a reason. I mean, let's just say, like, football has been a part of British culture for you can't even say how many, like, hundreds and hundreds of years. Yeah. And it's like, and you're willing to take, like Mika Richards said on Sunday, you're basically ripping the heart and soul of football, of British culture out, because it's because football has been such an affinity with British culture because it's been known to be a working class game. You know, the working class man and family go down, watch a game, support their local team. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's part of your childhood. It's part of how you grew up. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you leave like a legacy because you know your granddad would have taken you to a Leeds game, and then your dad takes you to a Leeds game, and then you take your son, or you know, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Yeah.
It's one of them things. It's football. It's not the rich man's sport, and it's not the poor person's sport. Okay, and a football is such an easy thing to do. If you go out there, if you can't do anything, you can buy a football for about £1, £2 even. You know, it just depends what kind of. You can get it in Argentina, in Brazil. They've been playing with, you know, rolled up sockses and stuff like that.
Plastic bottles.
There you go. And it's such an easy game. You can just put 2 coats down. There's the goals, and it's something so accessible. And this is why, you know, it's just going to take that love out of the game, because we won't have Leeds United fans, we won't have Villa fans, we won't have Everton fans, because the thing is, they're going to go to the new up and coming generation. We'll just look at whatever is visual, whatever looks good, and the way they package it with all the frills and everything. It takes money, doesn't it? And they're going to package it. When you've got money, lots and lots of money thrown, you will be successful. It doesn't matter. This is just the way it works. You can look at it. Chelsea, they were a nothing team. Loads of money played into them. Look at them. Yeah, they bought the best. They got the best manager in the world at that time, Jose Mourinho. Money was there, spent, brilliant. Yeah, Man City, the same thing. So in industry, in any industry, you know, my industry, the music industry, you know, an artist can do whatever he can. If there's not this marketing juggernaut behind him, if there is no money behind him, you know, and there's money behind the other artists, people are going to gravitate towards that particular artist. And it's the same thing here. Do you sort of follow what I'm trying to do? Say. And this is the knock-on effect. The generations that are going to be coming, they're not going to, because we won't be able to keep up with the Joneses. That's the thing. We won't be able to keep up with them.
No, and the thing is, as well, is that I just think it's quite, cheeky. I think it's cheeky of them to say that there's going to be 15 elite teams, and then we'll be like, oh, but there'll be 5 places, because if we like you and you've done well, we'll pick you for 1 season and we'll let you play with us.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Is this the playground when 15 of you are bloody captains and you're picking the last 5 people to play in your team? Like, no, it's not how it works. And I really want UEFA, FIFA, I want every governing body to say, if you break away, you're not allowed back in. As in, you can't come back into the Premier League and start back where you are. If you're going to come, if it falls flat on its face, which I think it would eventually, you come back to the like National League, like right down at the bottom, like even below conference level. Seriously, start from the bottom and then build your way up.
Yeah, start from the parks.
It's just because I just think if they were to be like say it went forward and then they did break away and then they were like crying about it, and then wanted to come back in, and then if Premier League allowed them straight back into the Premier League, I thought, well, that's not fair on the rest of us. And who are you going to kick out?
Yeah.
Like seriously, who? Like seriously, like if that actually happened, right? Because obviously you're going to get teams from the Championship coming up, and everyone's going to shuffle up, right? So if they were allowed back in, who are you going to kick out? Because like everyone else would be working the way that because they had been, you know, working as a competition, you know, aiming to be promoted. Like so. Those teams that actually got the Championship title, for example, or the League One title, aren't allowed to play in the Premier League anymore because they've been allowed back. Yeah, this is why I'm saying, if like they need to really consider what they're going to do because with the backlash that's been going on, I can't see Premier League allowing them to carry on the domestic league because, like Gary Neville said, they're taking the competition out of it, and it will get seriously boring. Who like every year we work, like every team earns their place. You know, you've always got competition every week, like to get them 3 points, to get your tally up, to get into the Champions League.
Yeah.
And Europa League positions. Do you know what I mean? Like you do that because, and then at the end of the season, if you're in that position, you've earned it, and then you get to play against Barcelona, and you get to play against this, and it potentially changes every year. Sometimes it doesn't, but you've got that excitement, you've got that competition, and it's taking that away. And if you're playing Barcelona every twice, like week in week out, like it's going to get boring.
Absolutely correct. And you know, another thing is they've thrown Tottenham Hotspur in the mix. I
don't get it
because they've got a big stadium.
Oh, I don't.
That's the criteria, maybe. But you know, we have been so fortunate and blessed. You know that we've got Marcelo Bielsa, a wonderful man, comes from a great footballing country, you know, Argentina, and they've got heritage there with football, and you know, and they are one of the biggest nations when it comes to football, doesn't it? You know, without a doubt. And we've picked fans up on merit. Leeds United have picked fans from. I mean, I get it on my El Loco channel, you know, where we've got fans who are fans of Leeds' brand of football on merit from Argentina, from Brazil, from Chile. You know, we've got all this, and that's down to Marcelo Bielsa bringing this kind of wonderful football, you know. And the thing is, this is the thing we're building a brand. We are building a brand, you know, and you don't see our chairman, Andrea Radrizzani, going up to these big six, the European Super League head honchos, saying, hang about, we've got 4 or 5 people from different countries who are into us. Let us go and you build it on merit, and it takes time. And Leeds United have got a big fan base. They have got a fan base in Canada. They have got a fan base in Asia, you know, Malaysia, and in the UK as well, obviously. But we built that on merit. Now, with Tottenham Hotspur, you know, they've just decided, let's just, you know, we've got the stadium, massive stadium. This is what we're going to bring to the party. And, you know, they're yet to build. They're yet to build a global sort of fan base, because they're very much well known. Out of the 2 clubs, the 2 North London clubs, it's Arsenal who are more famous and recognised than Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I totally agree. I seriously, like, I'm just like with everyone. Like, everyone's actually curious as to why Tottenham is actually involved in the big six. If you're thinking about history-wise, like, even Tottenham doesn't even fall into that category. No. So Leeds stands a better chance of being classed as a big six, but because I think, are they just going off what's happened in the past with like Premier League? I mean, even like, just like you say, like Tottenham, Arsenal, they're not in Champions League places. Manchester United aren't. Like, they're just.
Well,
is it just going? Is it just going off from when the Premier League began in 1992?
And the thing was, Leeds United were we were one of the founding members of the Premier League. We were in that selected 24 teams.
Yeah.
Because we had just won the league, 91, 92. That's when all this changes happened, and I remember back then. But the thing was, when the Premier League, excuse me, when the Premier League actually formed, it didn't hurt anybody. It didn't. You didn't see at that time the big six or the big seven, the Leeds, the Evertons, Liverpool, Man United. You know, Chelsea and Man City weren't even in the big six at that time. You know, so when they all formed, they didn't want to damage the Championship or First Division, Second Division. Yeah, they didn't. They actually enhanced it by doing this Premier League. And the thing was, at the start, the Premier League gave a lot into. They cleaned up a lot of football as well. I mean, all this has been said on the news, so I don't want to replicate what's been said. But you know, anybody who doesn't know, but they did plow in a lot of money and the grassroots level. You know, they sorted all this culture which we had of hooliganism and all this kind of stuff, and it made the game very sort of family orientated. And it was nice, and we lost our way in the Premier League in 2001 because we chased the dream with money and everything like that. But this is the thing: we came out of the Premier League, we went to the Championship, and we were the biggest club in the Championship. Everybody wanted to beat Leeds. Yeovil would play against us and really go for it, because this was their cup final. And the thing is, we turned back. Why it was such a joyous occasion? Why I sang my song? It's because I've missed all this. Because when we've missed this whole Twitter, Facebook thing, because Leeds have never experienced this whole social media. I've never experienced this YouTube business when Leeds were in the Premier League, because these tools were not available. So it's something new, and that's why we get so wound up about it, because the Championship was a whole different level. For a long time we were, it was very, very difficult, the Championship years, until Marcelo turned up, and before these owners turned up, we weren't fantastic. It was really, really hard. It was difficult to watch us, even in the Championship. We watch it, obviously, as a Leeds fan.
Yeah, the Championship over the last 10 years, wow.
It was difficult. It was a difficult watch. The games were boring.
I mean, what was it? I think, was it the highest we got was like 7th?
Yes, and that was with Grayson.
Was 7th. Yeah.
With Simon Grayson, and that was that 1 year. And then after that, we had McDermott, we had Neil Redfern in there, we had then we had all this Massimo Cellino years. It wasn't anything to shout about in the social media. Yes, but we still loved our club. We didn't move away from it. For me, honestly, I wouldn't go to the games at that time because, well, I still can't at this precise moment because of my musical commitments, but when I get a chance, I do go. But this is the thing, you see, we've still got that in our hearts. We've still got our own club because we've got the identity with them. You've got the identity, and your family's got the identity, and that's I think that's what's hurt so many people on social media. It just feels like somebody is taking,
I mean, it's quite similar to what Gary Neville said, is the fact that, I mean, yes, it kind of looked like he picked on Liverpool, but he was basically trying to drive his point forward. The fact that Liverpool is known to be a proper working class for the people team club. You've got the slogan, "You'll never walk alone." Well, the owners are going back on that. They don't care. They don't have, just like you say, they don't have that identity with the club. They don't have the affiliation with the club. They see it as a franchise. They see it as a business. But no, the people, like what's been said on the back of those Leeds United shirts, were football is for the fans. If it wasn't for the fans, you wouldn't get the money.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's all well and good having your sponsorship money and your TV rights, but if no one watches you, you're not going to get as much money, are you? Because then eventually the sponsorships will dry up and the TV rights would dry up, and it's I say, it's all well and good to say, this is our business, but without the supporters, how can you run your business? It's just like any business. If you don't have the customers, you're not going to survive.
Yes. Yeah.
But they don't see it that way, because they don't care about the actual Liverpool supporters living in Liverpool. They don't care about the actual Manchester United and Manchester City fans living in Manchester or even in the UK. They just see it as, we've got fans in America, we've got fans in Asia, they will watch it. Yeah. We've got such a global fan base, and so if they don't we don't care about that kind of minority of history, they'll still watch it, so we'll still get money.
Yeah, you got to say, I mean, you got to ask a fan in Asia or whatever, or wherever they could be. This isn't a political or cultural thing at all, but I'm just saying, would they be able to name a player from the 70s for these particular clubs like Man United? Who was the best player in the 78-79 season? Yeah. A real fan in Manchester would, So this is what we're talking about, and it is what it is, Rhiannon, and let's just hope that that the football authorities sort of come to their senses and everything works out. And let's hope the Big Six. I want the Big Six to stay in. And I think what Leeds done yesterday with the shirts and T-shirts, I know they've got a certain few people were saying, they shouldn't have given it to the Liverpool players.
I was a thing about that, because I thought Klopp took it a bit wrong.
He took it as an offence, didn't he?
He took it as an offence, and I'm thinking, well, it's not an offence, because he was like, no one needs to tell me that. I was like, but no one's telling you that. We're making a stance. It's basically saying to the world, it's like, we put it in your. It was totally your choice anyway, but it was there for you if you wanted. Being one of the big six, if you wanted to make a stance, if you didn't agree with what was going on, you were free to wear that shirt. You didn't have to come out and say, well, I don't need to be told about that because whatever. I was like, we weren't doing it for that reason. And I just thought he took it completely the wrong way. But what's come out recently is that I think Chelsea and Man City are losing their nerve.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so they're not going to, they're thinking of stepping away. That's good.
From what I've seen on Twitter, they're a bit like, I think it was Chelsea and Man City, and then if they can get Tottenham on board, I think that'll be enough to basically stop it.
Yeah. See, Manchester City, it's like what Gary Neville said, that they've actually, they've put in a lot of in their community, and they've, scrubbed up that area of where they're from. And so they've put all this kind of stuff in place. So I don't think they want to hurt that. And plus Pep Guardiola, he's a super duper manager, and he's a superb man. He's a man of integrity, I think. He wouldn't stand for this kind of stuff. But I think going back to the shirts quickly, I'm conscious about the time as well, because we said 30 minutes off here, didn't
And
we?
we're talking an hour.
We've been, they're probably thinking, wow, it's the new Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville show. And remember, I've only borrowed you from All Leeds TV for a little while. And if the Liverpool lads had put the shirts on, they would have hammered their colours to the wall straight away. Here we don't know. Jurgen Klopp says in the interview, I'm going to go and talk to them and see what happens, and this, that, the other. If one of them or two, a couple of them, it's just like any protest.
It's one of those things, though, that I can't exactly blame the players for not wearing it. I totally get it. Like, if they did, it would have basically proved to the world that players don't agree with what's going on. Yeah. However, it's one of them things, like, it's like for any person working under an organisation,
you're going against your employer.
Be careful what you say, because if you do something that's completely out of line, you could get sacked. Do you know what I mean? It's just for them, they're put in an awkward situation. But I've got to praise James Milner for what he came out and said, yes. I didn't agree with it, and I totally stick by Bamford for saying it, because that was probably the quote of the night when Bamford came out and said, I don't understand, like, there's so much uproar over over pockets being hurt, but you don't see that against racism and other issues to do with football. It's just crazy.
Patrick's really, really good when it comes to talking about topics like anything off the field, or he's good about the on-field topics as well, but off the field he's very, very articulate with his wording and the way he says it and the mannerisms. He's a real gentleman, and he says the right thing, really, and he says the right thing that makes the impact, you see. And I think, look, I'm happy with James Milner as well, the way he came and conducted himself, said what it said, and Patrick as well. And let's just hope it just works out well for football. I mean, us as fans, that's all we can do.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a feeling why James Milner was the one that said it, because at the end of the day, he's near the end of his career with Liverpool. And so if he came out and said it and the owners weren't happy with it, he wouldn't care if he got sacked, got dropped the next morning. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he's had a great career. He's near the end of it anyway. And it wouldn't have had so much of an impact on him had someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold come out and say that, or Salah, exactly. So
you see, if they, you know what, another flip side argument is, if those players had worn the shirts, the Liverpool players, it would have showed the owners that this current squad won't want to come to your Big Six elite league.
Yeah.
With this current squad, so basically, with all that £3 billion you're going to get, you'd have to replace all these boys and get your own set of 22 players, because this lot have done this particular stance. So that's it would have given a definitive answer. But let's see what happens. I mean, tomorrow is Manchester City versus Aston Villa. Tomorrow. Yeah. So let's see if the Villa boys put some shirts on or something like that. I don't know what their supporters group would do anything, or they may not. So we don't know. But Rhiannon, I'm gonna say a massive thank you for giving me your time. I'm gonna put in the link description your details, so or you can tell us actually. That's how we usually do things here. Where can we find you, and what days are you on All Leeds TV?
So you can find me over at All Leeds TV on Leeds United Lasses, and we are a weekly podcast show every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. So I'll be on again tonight to talk about the Liverpool game. I'm sure ESL will get mentioned on our off the pitch segment. So check us out.
Yeah, well, listen, I always watch yourselves and you, Tash, and the is it Lucy?
Lucy, yeah.
Yeah, and we
Vicky.
sometimes haven't. Yeah, and you usually have some other guests as well come in, and I think it's really, really good. And I think what you're doing for females, in football and all that kind of stuff, all the power tier, I think is brilliant. And it's really, really good that Leeds United have, Leeds United fans have actually got together and done this all-female podcast. I think it was needed, and because football is for everybody.
It is, and there's
not just for the selected few.
No, and there's not a lot of women fan channels out there, so we like to make sure it's open to everyone and give everyone a voice.
Absolutely. Well, Rhiannon, thank you for coming on the Fan View, and all the best. And guys, thank you for watching this incredibly long Fan View, but we had to do it. We had to do it, and because there was a lot to take and talk about. So I'd really like it if you could like and share and comment and do all that kind of stuff that you guys on YouTube you do. But from myself and Rhiannon, we're going to say marching on together.
Marching on together.